My name is Marina, and I work as a professional translator from English into Russian. At the time I am making this video, the coronavirus has influenced the way we work, and translators are no exception to this. Today I'm going to talk about one possible way of working on your translation skills to improve conceptual equivalency. What is conceptual equivalency? If you are a translator, you most probably know that it is finding the correct equivalent in the target language for a concept in the source language. I will give some examples based on translating from English into Russian, but I hope that professional translators into other languages will find it useful. Now, we all know that conceptual equivalency is the key element of good translation. So, how can we improve it? And you need as little as 10 minutes a day. Obviously, the more time you have, the better. We listen to the news in the current situation more often than usual, read articles on the internet in both source and target language, and possibly currently we tend to do it more than usual. So while we listen to the news or read headlines, we can register in our mind and note down any linguistically interesting concepts. Strange, new, partially new, and try to find an equivalent. They will mostly be terms relating to the changes in our way of life, possibly some general medical terms. In this video, we are not talking about specific medical terminology for the virus, because it is a different subject. So those equivalents, some of them will be very straightforward and easy to find. And you might think, well, what a waste of time. We would just do it as it goes when a translation comes. For example, lifting restrictions, снятие ограничений, easing restrictions, ослабление ограничений, testing, тестирование, self-isolation, самоизоляция, quarantine, карантин, detected cases, выявленные случаи, and so on. In many cases, there will be several options from which you can choose, depending on what you're translating, but on the style required, on the audience. For example, the word infected may be translated as инфицированные, or it may be заразившиеся, a more colloquial option, or even заболевшие. And all of those equivalents are used in mainstream news and will depend on the context, the style. Other concepts, however, may be trickier or even ambiguous, and they will require additional research. This is where everyday work comes in. When you get a job with a tight deadline, you will be very grateful that it's all been researched and prepared in advance. So, some examples of such linguistically interesting new concepts that would probably be with us for some time to come. Al fresco dining. This one is hugely interesting. Al fresco, that is a borrowing from Italian into English to denote outside dining, and it would refer to restaurants with an outside patio, with table and chairs. And it sometimes happens with borrowed words. The phrase isn't currently used in Italian to denote outdoor dining, but it is used in English. And even in Russian, al fresco exists as a borrowed term. It is possible to say обед в стиле al fresco, although it's not widely used. So let's have a look how the Russian media rendered this. Obviously, the restaurants everywhere in the world would use this option of al fresco dining for the time being. So the Russian news offer the following equivalent. Рестораны предложат вам столик на летней веранде. Obviously, in another context, you could use трапеза на свежем воздухе, обед на летней веранде. Another one, underlying conditions. This is a medical term, but it appears very often in many documents of general nature, because we are talking about people with underlying conditions who are at a greater risk. So this term is often translated as хронические заболевания, which is okay, but it's not quite accurate. Because in English, we sometimes come across underlying chronic conditions. Then how would you render it? And underlying conditions may not always be in chronic form. They can be in acute form. So I found a better equivalent researching on the Russian internet. And what the Russian doctors use, and it has also come into media and mainstream, сопутствующие заболевания. This is a better term, a better equivalent. And obviously, if we have underlying chronic conditions to translate, then it's сопутствующие хронические заболевания, which can very often be heard in the Russian news. Another one, our number. So we cannot go down the route of translating the word number separately or thinking what R could be in Russian. This is the wrong way. We need to translate it as a concept. And first of all, we need to understand the meaning of this concept in English. So once we know what R number is in English, which is the coefficient of how the coronavirus spreads, then we would immediately find the correct equivalent in the Russian media. And it is коэффициент распространения коронавируса. Another interesting term from the point of view of equivalency. 2-meter rule. Правило соблюдения дистанции в 2 метра. Why it is interesting? Because in different countries the compulsory requirement varies. So it will depend on what you're translating, or whether you're actually translating something about England. Obviously, then you keep the 2-meter rule. Or if you're localizing something like maybe guidance for your country, then you may need to make a comment about it or use the equivalent that is accepted in your country. So in Russia, it will be generally 1.5-meter rule. In some settings, it can be up to 2 meters. Now, the last term I'm going to talk about is frontline worker. I have come across multiple ways of rendering it in Russian. Работник на передовой, sometimes in quotes, sometimes without. Or работник на передовой линии, на первой линии борьбы, медработники на первой линии, волонтеры, исполнители, санитары, социальные работники. So to choose the equivalent for this concept, frontline worker, we really need to understand who is included into it. Who is it? It's not just the medical staff, it's also volunteers, social workers, carers, police, law enforcement workers. At the same time, it's different from key workers or essential workers. So I have researched this term, and the research has given some interesting results. На переднем крае борьбы с эпидемией наши врачи, медсестры, которые работают с полной самоотдачей. Жители Москвы, Санкт-Петербурга и других городов объединяются, чтобы выразить благодарность и поддержать медиков, которые сейчас на переднем крае борьбы с эпидемией. На переднем крае борьбы с коронавирусом в Нижегородском регионе находится более 9 тысяч человек. В первую очередь это как раз медицинские работники и волонтеры. На переднем крае борьбы с коронавирусом находятся наши героические, без преувеличения, медики, персонал медучреждений, все те, кто непосредственно соприкасаются с заболевшими. Наша съемочная группа покажет, как работают на переднем крае борьбы с коронавирусом. After thorough research, the conceptual equivalent comes naturally. It should be все те, кто на переднем крае борьбы с коронавирусом. It has taken me a couple of days to pinpoint this equivalent. That is why it's so important to work regularly on honing your skills, finding some time every day to do it. The new concepts have come to every sphere of our life, so it's just as relevant if you specialize in sports, legal matters, fashion. Have your tailor-made glossary. And when a job comes, which you need to deliver to a tight deadline, then it will come in handy. Thank you for watching and hope you found it useful. Have a good day.